Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. 3 ciphers on the giant, the periodic table on the giant, the barcode on the giant, 2 ciphers that are the same on Shadows of Evil, the brick cipher on Shadows of Evil, the cipher behind the painting on Shadows of Evil. There are so many ciphers in Black Ops 3 Zombies. Holy guacamole! So far, we've cracked a few of them. Last week, I decoded and uploaded one of the brick ciphers on Shadows of Evil, and I also uploaded my explanation telling you how I did it yesterday, which you can check out in the description. As I mentioned, 2 of the ciphers on Shadows are identical. They're the same thing, and I've uploaded individual videos about both of these, speculating as to why on earth Treyarch might have given us the same cipher twice. It's the same keyword and the same cipher text in 2 different locations. It doesn't make any sense to me, but the good news is that it doesn't matter, because today I'm giving you the solution. We're going to be talking about what the message means as well, so make sure you stick around for the whole video. There's some interesting discussion in here. Also, just before we get started, I want to say a thank you to Becky. Congratulations to her. Her gamertag is in the description down below. She dropped me a DM and we talked all this over. So good stuff, Becky. Lovely jubbly. Let's get into the cipher. So, just to make things nice and straightforward for you guys, I've put the cipher text and the key at the top of the page here. This cipher text translates to the following super strange message. The elders will continue to seed space and time. I must lead them to the place they cannot see. Yeah, that's super weird, isn't it? I personally think that this is extremely peculiar, namely because it mentions the elders who are seeding space and time. What exactly does that mean? I must lead them to the place they cannot see. So these elders have been seeding space and time, but they can't see something, even though they're seemingly what? Basically creating space and time? What? It's just very, very peculiar. Now, I think I have some answers as to who the elders are, what their significance is in the zombie storyline, and all that good stuff. First of all, though, I wanted to throw in some opinions from you guys, seeing as I asked you on Twitter who you think the elders are, and you gave me some fantastic responses, so I'm going to throw a couple of the responses into this video. First of all, from G's on Wheeze, who are the elders? He responds, people still on last gen. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. We then had a lot of responses saying the gatekeepers and the keepers by association. For example, Brian Bjornsson suggested that the elders are the oldest gatekeepers, which you do not see, but hold all the power in the Shadows of Evil universe. They're like anti-Shadow Man leaders. Carhart starts off by saying that the gatekeepers, who we're familiar with, are a race of extraterrestrial beings. I think we can all get behind that. They go on to say that the elders may be the ones governing the gatekeepers, a superior version of the gatekeepers. A couple of people suggested that the elders might be the original 4 characters, that's Takio, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Richtofen, that we're familiar with from Origins, or maybe that same set of characters in their original forms, which we saw on the premise sheet on Origins, and just maybe in the Shadows of Evil murals as well. If you guys think back to the statues of the O4 inside the mound on Origins, you'll notice that they have that symbol on their chests that is the exact same as that which we see adorning the chests of the Keepers. The theory that I personally subscribe to most closely, though, is that the Elders, this new race that has never been talked about before, are actually, drumroll please, the Vriljar. Or rather, they're sort of the Vriljar, but not quite the same thing. And I think that there is a distinction. Or rather, I'd like to think that there's a distinction, and if there isn't, then this is just really weird. Although, it could be explained away by the fact that we have multiple universes now. Anyhow, let's dive into it. Shadows of Evil is heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft's writing. Very much so. And in the Lovecraft mythos, you have creatures called Elder Things. The Elder Things are extremely technologically advanced, and that could be attributed to the fact that they're a very old race. In fact, they were the first extraterrestrial species to come to and colonize Earth around 1 billion years ago. I'm going to read you an excerpt now from H.P. Lovecraft's novella called At the Mountains of Madness, in which he talks about the Elder Things. Note also that the Mountains of Madness is the title. Where are we going on the next Zombies map? Mountains. Anyhow, a description is given of a headless body, and only part of the body actually remains. In furrows between ridges are curious growths, combs or wings that fold up and spread out like fans, which gives almost 7-foot wingspread. Arrangement reminds one of certain monsters of primal myth, especially fabled elder things in the Necronomicon. Lovecraft states that they have rotational symmetry rather than bipedal like you would expect with a human, for example. As far as their history goes, the Elder Things built huge cities on dry land, but also underwater, too. They weren't wholly a peaceful race either. They're known to have warred against the star spawn of Cthulhu and the great race of Yith, amongst others. Their decline came about due to the last ice age on Earth. Their society receded, and eventually they were left with a single surface city, located in the Antarctic, which remains, to this day, frozen in ice. There's also an underwater city directly below this last land city that I've just talked about. Sounds like a pretty good location for a zombies map, doesn't it? Anyhow, the reason I likened them to the Vril is because A, they're an ancient alien race. They don't originate from Earth itself. They come to our planet, colonize, are very successful in doing so, but then end up declining and have to sort of shrink back and hide elsewhere on the planet in order to survive. Just as the Vril have this ancient energy, Vril, which is so significant in the zombies storyline in a lot of ways, I think that what Treyarch might be doing here is essentially saying the following. We've in the past had Vril and Vril Yar, and that's all been great, but now we want to introduce elements of Lovecraft's writings, and so we should probably do it in such a way that it fits in with some of the beings and monsters that he introduced himself. We've obviously got the Margwa and the parasites. Those fit right in with Lovecraft and the giant squid that's freaking on top of the city pretty much. But this is just an extension of that. It's a nice way for Treyarch to throw in a nod towards an ancient race that Lovecraft wrote himself, and also give us some new stuff to play with within our own storyline for zombies. Now, a question you're probably asking at this point is, that's all well and good if that's who the Elders are. It may not be them, by the way. It could be a completely different thing altogether. But if you're correct, MrRoflWaffles, what does this mean in the context of the note? Why are they seeding time and space? Not only that, but why have they been doing it already in the past? And why is this person stating that they will continue to do it? Also, whoever this person is leading them to a place that they cannot see. If this race have this power to seed time and space, whatever that means, does that mean that they're actually threading the fabric of the universe? We know that 115 is the webbing that holds the universe together or what have you, but this is worded in such a way that it's just really, really weird. So let's guess as to who might have written this note. Could it be Richtofen? Could his plan, which we still don't know a lot about by any means, by the way, but could his plan be to get the attention of the Elders and then point that attention in the direction of the paradoxes and dimensional inconsistencies that the zombies storyline has accrued over the years? Think about it. We've got this rift, which is talked about quite a lot in Black Ops 2's story. It's clearly not meant to be there. The characters talk about mending the rift. Maxis communicates across the rift. I don't think interdimensional communication is necessarily meant to work, and so I think that that is going to be a bone of contention in Black Ops 3. The question is this Richtofen's note? Is he writing this cipher? If he is, does that mean that he's also writing the other ciphers? M is interested in these worthless beings. All his work will be undone. That seems to go against the idea of Richtofen and Maxis communicating and working together, so maybe they're separate people. Or perhaps that means that that other note is referring to Monty and not Maxis, and then it wouldn't prevent Richtofen and Maxis from actually being on the same side as that otherwise would. But going back to this note, if it's Richtofen himself, is he using the summoning key for all of this? Is the summoning key going to allow him to get the attention of the Elder Things, like I talked about, of the Elders? Why are they seeding time and space? All of these questions, there are a lot of them, need to be answered, and hopefully You guys are going to come along with me on the journey throughout the rest of the year as we try and uncover it all. I want to leave you with one final thought. What if everything I've said so far in this video is incorrect with regards to the Elders, and actually, the Elders are just the Apothicons, the Shadow Man and Co, and maybe the Keepers as well, seeing as they're seemingly Apothicons too? What if the note was written a long time ago by someone who felt they needed to bring these elder beings to Morgue City, and that's why they're here? They couldn't see it before for whatever reason, and now this person has directed them towards the city, and they are wreaking havoc. Is that possible? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I'm super duper excited for the new zombies map that's coming out in DLC 1 called Der Eisendrachen, and hopefully you guys are too. If you are, subscribe right now, you filthy watermelon, and I'll see you very soon in another Black Ops 3 Zombies video. Tally ho, bye bye!